Alex, you're doing a great job of bringing this information to us live right now as all this information is coming in. And so we would like to see you because we know that you can describe it even better. But these witnesses that are coming up and talking to you, just amazing that they were inside shopping. I mean, this is a huge Walmart facility. So when people are in there shopping, there are a lot of people. And these employees apparently were telling this man who you just talked to and several others to get to the back of the store. I really want to know what time that was, because when we first heard over the scanners, it was about 10 to noon. When we heard the reports coming over the scanner that a man was shot outside Kellum Law Firm right across the street. So a few minutes later is when we heard that there were more shootings at the Walmart across the street.
Anything going on? Give me a call for this.
Yeah, I think we're getting some feedback. I'm not sure, but we do have a live look right now. This is, I believe this is Greenville Boulevard that we're seeing right here. And the traffic is backed up from Evans to Arlington Boulevard, along Greenville Boulevard. These two roads, they cross. I believe, were you saying that my producer, Amber, is in my ear and she's telling me this information as we are getting it, but traffic is backed up to Arlington Boulevard, is that correct? All right, Evans Street is backed up as well. So what you're seeing here is a live look at what this crime scene is looking like, roped off. And so they're trying to divide the public from what has just happened at the Walmart on Greenville Boulevard, the busiest road going right through the heart of Greenville. And that's the scene of these two shootings. This is what we're talking about. And we do want to bring you up to speed because you could just now be joining us. Normally we are off the air at this time at 12:30, but if you are just now joining us, this has been a breaking news situation right here on 9 on Your Side at noon, because right before we went on the air, we got reports of a man being shot outside the Kellum Law Firm on Greenville Boulevard, and then more shootings across the street at the Walmart. So we have crews on both scenes right now. Our Brad Christian, when he first got to the Kellum Law Firm on Greenville Boulevard, that is when we saw live images of a man who was shot in the face, as witnesses have described for us, and we could see the man holding his face. We saw first responders attending to this man on the sidewalk right in front of the law firm, putting him onto a gurney and carrying him into an ambulance and taking off. That's when we knew already that there had been more shootings at the Walmart across the street. Our Alex Friedman was already on the scene there along with police. And this is the video from earlier. This is what Brad shot for us as soon as he got to the scene. And this is what it looked like around 11:50 or noon, actually. This is the man lying on the sidewalk in the distance. These people are going to clear here in just a second, and you're going to see him. But that's what I was just describing, that scene outside Kellum Law Firm. This has been very, this information has been coming into the newsroom over the last half an hour now, so we are still wondering where the person who shot this man is. We do not know at this time. Police have not been able to confirm much of this information. What we're giving to you is information that our photographers and reporters have seen for themselves as soon as they got to the scene. That's how we are confirming this for you now. The context of everything, we will put that into perspective for you when Greenville police are able to brief us on everything that's happened this morning and this afternoon. Right now, what we are showing you though is that video that Brad shot, and this is the man getting carried off into the ambulance. There he is. And at the same time, right across the street at the Walmart, that is where another crime scene was unfolding, basically. We had people being shot at the Walmart. We don't know who is behind this. All we know is that the same descriptions have been coming in about one lone gunman. And these witnesses have been describing for us that they saw a man carrying a backpack and what looked to be a rifle or a shotgun. He was also wearing just dark clothing. And we actually had this man, Robert Mercado, on with us just a few minutes ago. We were interviewing him, and he was at the Kellum Law Firm, saw the whole thing happen for himself. He was actually in the hotel right next door when he heard shots fired. He and another man ran outside to see what it was, and that's when he said he saw the gunman, the suspected gunman, running away from Kellum Law Firm. He described a shotgun or rifle carried over the man's shoulder. He had it slung over his shoulder. And then our Alex Friedman at Walmart, he talked to witnesses saying that they saw the exact same man at Walmart. People inside the store, they were panicked, confused, because employees were telling everyone inside the Walmart to get to the back of the store. Alex saw one woman getting carried away on a gurney. We're actually going to bring our Alex Friedman back right now because he is live at the scene. We've been able to get our camera up and running and getting him in front of it. And we want to bring Alex back into this. Alex, can you just describe for us, we're trying to recap our viewers because now that it is 12:36 in the afternoon, they're not used to seeing us on the air. We need to let them know what's going on with this breaking news. What have you seen at the Walmart this afternoon?
Sure thing, Andrea. Just starting from the top here, we arrived on the Walmart, probably about, I'd say about 35, 40 minutes ago. And during that time when we first arrived, police were also arriving at the same time. The area here was not blocked off, as you see right now. And the first thing that we saw were people running in every which direction. Because as you were saying just moments ago, there was a shooter, more or less, here in the parking lot. And what witnesses are telling me was more or less shooting indiscriminately at anyone that he walked past. They described that shooter, as you were saying, someone with dark colored clothing, with a book bag on, and with a rifle that was just shooting indiscriminately at customers here in the parking lot. And that's what we saw exactly when we arrived just before noon today. And so when you have a situation like that, obviously there's panic and people are going in every direction. Let's take a moment and show you what's going on at the scene right now. You have Greenville Fire and Rescue. They've used their trucks to block off the very entrance of the lane that this all happened on here in the parking lot as well. And they're working on obviously locking down and further tightening up the area. If you're moving on down this way, you can see probably right in front of, there's a police, undercover police car right there. It's a Chevy. Right in front of that to the left, a little to the left, is where the victim that we saw as soon as we arrived that had been shot in the back and potentially in other areas as well. They look to be severely injured. Medics have since taken that man. It was an elderly looking gentleman to the hospital. He left in an ambulance a short time ago. That was one of the more worst situations that we saw when we first arrived here. Now, and you can see we're right in front of the home and pharmacy entrance to the Walmart itself. You have a lot of police that are still here on the scene. A lot of them now, they finished talking to the witnesses that were here in the area, and moreover, they're now talking amongst themselves, trying to find out exactly what happened. I did talk, the gentleman that we talked with earlier, just a little while ago, was telling me that he was being interviewed by a trooper, a state trooper that was here, and the trooper told him that they indeed shot the gunman, because of course that's coming from a witness that is telling us that the police, the deputies, all the law enforcement out here, that the gunman was shot. That's what he was told by a trooper. And now this happened, it was here in the parking lot area, but we're being told that some of it was moved to the side of the Walmart as well. So it looks like this entire area here is part of the crime scene. As you can see, police have roped off with their crime scene tape a large portion of it as they work to, of course, get more evidence. I was talking to witnesses earlier and they were saying there are, of course, rifle shells that are on the ground here that need to be worked and things like that. Interesting enough, the gentleman that I was talking to earlier, he was inside the Walmart when all this happened. He said that Walmart employees immediately began yelling, "Run, run, run," and they pushed all of the customers to the back of the store, which is going to be the furthest away from the location here. So you see that they had an emergency plan in place. And also out here, of course, we always have security going through the Walmart areas. I'm sure they played a factor in it with the cameras that are also out here. But of course, what we're seeing right now, again, is more of a scene cleanup. And as I was saying earlier, you don't see, as I'm sure you can see right now, you don't see a large rush or a large surge from law officers or any kind of police or deputies, which can lead you to believe that the situation is under control. It can lead you to believe that what the witnesses were telling us, that a trooper told them that there was indeed a shooting and that the gunman was shot. And of course, we're going to wait, as we always do, to get full confirmation from law enforcement before we really fly with that. But that's just what we're hearing out here on the scene now. And of course, a very crazy day, to say the least, and we're going to continue to do our best to try and get that under control. Andrea, back to you.
Yeah, this certainly is shaking up this community because we live in Greenville. Most of us do who work here at WNCT. You know, this is where we are headquartered. That's why we have these live I-9 cameras up for you right now. This is very odd. If you've ever driven through Greenville, especially on a Friday afternoon, this is very, very odd. This is Greenville Boulevard, right? I believe is what we're looking at here. This road has been blocked off because traffic is blocked out all the way from Greenville Boulevard to Arlington along Evans Street. Traffic is backed up right now. Police have quartered off this section while they investigate two separate shooting crime scenes. This all started happening around 10 minutes until to noon, just a short while ago. So these are two very active crime scenes right now, as you heard Alex explain, and our photographer Brad over at Kellum Law Firm. Police are still interviewing witnesses. There are several witnesses witnesses because this is a busy time of the afternoon. You have people
Joe
getting
Friday
out,
is at the convention center. He's not here.
And,
no police officers here. We'll talk. Already asked him.
I apologize. We do have Alex on the phone for us, so he's actually, we're still getting his audio over hot here on the air. But basically, what you're looking at here again is the street, Greenville Boulevard, is closed off. Police have blocked it off because they're investigating these two shooting scenes. And we do want to just remind you that this is 9 on your side, and we're on the air with you right now. We will remain on the air with you until we confirm that the danger is over, and then we will resume regular broadcasting. But right now, we need to get to the bottom of the facts here. What we do know is, and this is video from earlier of Kellum Law Firm, our Brad Christian, our photographer, got to the scene. Just as you can tell, first responders were taking care of a man who had been shot outside Kellum Law Firm. He was lying on the sidewalk there. It's interesting because witnesses at both scenes of the shootings, they've described the same type of suspected gunman. And what witnesses at Walmart have been telling our Alex Friedman is that troopers are telling them the gunman was shot. Now, we're going to confirm that information for you, but right now that is the belief among many witnesses who are still out there and experiencing this for themselves. Just took a normal afternoon trip to Walmart to pick up a couple of items, and they end up having to get rushed to the back of the store because a gunman was out in the parking lot. People were shot. Alex saw that he saw one man getting carried away on a stretcher, getting taken to the hospital. A man had been shot in the back. Another woman had been injured. She was taken to the hospital. But what you're looking at here is what happened just before that at Kellum Law Firm. One man shot in the face here. So this is really just shaking up this entire community this afternoon as police continue to investigate who did this, why, because it does seem to be planned. What the witnesses are talking about is a man carrying a rifle in a backpack and wearing body armor. Those are the accounts that we've been sharing with you right here over the air live as we get this information. So we want to be clear. We want to discern from what people saw and what police actually know to be true. And when these things happened, our timeline that we've been able to gather is that it all started around 11:50. That's when the first shooting happened at Kellum Law Firm. A few minutes later, more shootings were reported right across the street, right across of Greenville Boulevard at the Walmart in the parking lot. As you can see, crime scene tape is still up at Walmart. This is actually, I believe, is this a live look, guys, or is this some video? This is actually a live look right now. This is what it looks like right now at 12:43 in the afternoon. You still have an active crime scene. These are people's cars, people who just went in to do some shopping. Their cars are now part of a crime scene until police can investigate and get all the evidence that they need in order to prosecute the person who did this. So that is what we're seeing right now. We do have reporters at both scenes right now. These are very close together. If you know Greenville, this is literally one shooting scene is right across the street from the other, but Greenville Boulevard is expansive. It's several lanes and it's heavily traveled, but right now it's making Greenville look like a ghost town because police have blocked it off to traffic. Traffic is backed up in other roads. We are positive of that. We do have our own reporters reporting back to us that traffic is backed up all along Evans Street because it's really just filtering and funneling through there. We're going to bring Alex back into this because it looks like he has a witness who was there when this happened. Alex, let's hear from this man, see what he has to say.
Andrea, this is TR. We were just talking to him earlier in the newscast during the noon, and he was describing, TR, you saw everything that happened. Take us from the beginning of exactly what you saw earlier here today.
Well, it was Friday, I was coming for grocery shopping, parking my car, started hearing loud noise, and it sounded like gunshots. And I immediately noticed there was a young guy in black, had a shotgun and shooting, just pointing the gun this way and just shooting at people. And he was just not even aiming at anybody, just shooting at anybody. And I saw him going between the cars shooting, and then saw him leave the parking lot towards the Toys R Us, then going behind the Landmark building. Then he decided, I guess somebody was on the phone with the police at that time. I followed him so he won't get away, kept my distance, but that I saw him coming back from the Landmark and going back towards the Toys R Us. I thought he was going inside the Toys R Us building, but then he decided to leave back, go behind the Landmark. After that, I heard a bunch of shots. Police was all around. A bunch of shots were fired.
And we were talking earlier, you were saying that you were able to actually see the gunman on the ground after a while.
Right, when I was exiting from where the gas station is, so I saw him laying in the ground on sidewalk.
Something along those lines. So, and describe to me again, you're coming out here, you're just trying to go shopping, maybe get something to eat, and all this is going on. What goes through your mind when that's happening? We were talking earlier, and we were both shook up.
Right, I couldn't even dial 911.
Yeah, I know.
I took a picture, and I was trying to take pictures, but I couldn't get it going. My hands were, I was just nervous.
My goodness. And so, and it's great to hear that at least the situation was under control after all that happened, and you were able to talk to police and at least get your testimony out there, what happened, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
So great. Well, as you were seeing there, this is JR, TR?
TR.
That's what the letters, I'm always rub with those. And so this is a second confirmation from another witness that they saw the gunman to at least be on the ground. Another witness telling us that the gunman was shot. And as we were saying earlier, the situation here really hitting a calm level, looking to be under control. So you don't really see the law enforcement running around. You don't see them acting as if there's someone still on the run. So we don't want to throw too much caution out there just yet. But of course, we don't want to heighten the situation any more than it is. We're being honest and on your side here. The situation out here, police more or less seeming to just work together to try and close up this incident that happened here today. Andrea.
Absolutely. That's great information, Alex. At this point, it seems that most people just need to stay calm and keep away from this area of Greenville. It looks like they won't have a problem with that because the police have actually blocked off Greenville Boulevard. It's very empty right now, as you can tell. This is our live I-9 camera. This is what it looks like right now at this moment, 12:47. Greenville Boulevard is normally extremely packed at this time in the afternoon. Right now, no one is on that road except law enforcement and people who they are allowing to go through. Our Kristen Hunter is at the convention center in Greenville right now. She's going to join us on the phone with what she can see from her perspective. Kristen?